When he was sure everyone was settled, Keith went behind the bar and came back holding a folded newspaper. Dale had provided it for him earlier. He walked to the gap in the centre of the barroom between the two committees and cleared his throat to get everyone's attention. "Welcome, ladies and gentlemen," he began, "and thank you for attending the meeting this evening." He paused momentarily. "And in case anyone is unaware," he continued, "this is the reason we're all here." He unfolded the newspaper, revealing it to be the Fakenham Guardian, and brandished the front cover at both committees in turn. The headline across the front page ran, "The War of the Roses." Underneath there were pictures of each of the village greens, showing the floral displays before and after the chaotic incidents in question. There were also some random mugshots of committee members looking surly and bad-tempered. There was an audible, shocked gasp from both sides of the room. Keith lowered the newspaper, folded it back up, and put it down on the bar. "So," he said, "Sergeant Richards has instructed me to act as a mediator tonight to try to solve this issue. He has suggested that we start with each committee or individual, as case may be, confessing to the acts of vandalism that we've all been witness to. The meeting is entirely confidential, and the Sergeant has assured me that no charges will be pressed." He gave a serious look to each side. "Who'd like to start the ball rolling?" Leaving it at that, he sat himself down on one of the bar stools and waited. There was an awfully long silence, with the odd cough and shuffling of feet. No one seemed to want to break the ice. The Brigadier, unsurprisingly, was the first to lose patience. "Come on!" He glowered at the West Barton Committee. "Just own up! We all know it was one of you lot that wrecked my clematis. I have my suspicions." "And just what do you mean by that?" retorted Cynthia, whose patience had also been running thin. "And what about my tulips? Which one of your lot did it? You?" She pointed vaguely at the East Barton Committee, but Bernie, perhaps being overly sensitive after his run-in with Sergeant Richards, thought she was implicating him. "I never touched you rotten old flowers. I'm just an honest farmer, a Norfolk man, born and bred, strong in the arm, and thick in the head." She finished the rhyme for him. "We all know that bit." "Don't you speak to my husband like that," warned Molly. "Us rows can't be pushed too far." "Well, you said it," smirked Vincent. "Too many sausage rolls by the look of him. It's no wonder you need that yank tank to go around in." That pushed it over the edge. Ethel lost her rag. She didn't like to see her friends insulted. "Och, look everyone," she said, joining the fray and pointing at Vincent. "We've found Berk, but where's Hare?" "Are you suggesting I'm some sort of body snatcher?" queried Vincent snidely. "Well, you certainly look unnatural. Nosferatu springs to mind," said Ethel, looking pleased with her put-down. Richard, eager to vent off some of his own pent-up vitriol, decided it was time to join in. "That's a bit rich coming from Jimmy Cranky's granny," he guffawed. "How dare you?" said Ethel, looking affronted. "Look," said the Brigadier, "can we just get on?" "Oh, yes," cut in Richard. "Let's hear from Sergeant Bilko again." The Brigadier started to turn red with irritation. "Now you listen to me, bloody Lord Snooty. I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't you behind our destruction of our village green," he fumed accusingly. "I'll have you know I'm a well-respected pillar of the community," refuted Richard, drawing himself to his full height. "Pillar of the community, more like," chortled Bernie, pleased he'd got one in on the arrogant prat. He never liked Lord Braithwaite. The villagers who'd come up to attend the meeting couldn't believe their luck. This was first-class entertainment. They were looking eagerly from side to side, waiting for the next sucker punch to land. They didn't have long to wait. Keith tried to restore order. It wasn't going at all well. "No, can we all just calm down?" he said. "This ain't helping." "Well, I'm perfectly calm," said Mariam, who was indeed completely composed and serene. "And I just want to point out the extensive damage done to the habitat of the flora and fauna living on the village greens. There may have been birds nesting and hedgehogs. Oh, give it a rest, Dr. Doolittle," Ethel berated her. "This isn't an episode of wildlife rescue." Mariam sat back in her chair, looking disappointed and distraught. "Will you get that Highland Terrier under control?" Cynthia seized at the East Barton Committee. Ethel glared at her, but was met with an equally chilling stare. "No," said Cynthia, changing tack. She fixed the brigadier with a look of cold contempt. "I believe we were about to hear a confession." The brigadier wasn't about to fall for that old trick. "Nice try, Maleficent," he said sweetly. "But you'll be hearing no such thing from me." The next hour of the evening progressed in a similar fashion, with each side trying to force a confession from the other. But it was all to no avail. Keith was getting exasperated with the lack of progress. Cecilia had felt sorry for poor Mariam when she'd been shot down in flames for bringing up the issue of wildlife. She thought she ought to follow her lead and try a more measured approach. "Listen, everyone," she began. "We have to learn to get on together." "Well said," came a voice from across the room. It was Michael. Cynthia shot him a warning glance. "If we're going to live in harmony," Cecilia continued, "we have to be singing off the same hymn sheet. We all need to be playing the same tune. Well, you're an accountant, so we all know you'll be good on the fiddle," jeered Vincent, unable to control himself. Cecilia rolled her eyes and pouted in annoyance. There was an appreciative chuckle from the audience of villagers who were having a whale of a time. Bernie wasn't so amused. "What did you say to her, Igor?" he asked threateningly. "Igor?" questioned Vincent. "Surely you could do better than that, being a man of such high education." "I got my degree from the University of Life," said Bernie. "Ah," said Vincent. "But did you pass?" Bernie snapped. "Right, Baron Samedi, I've just about heard enough out of you." And they were off again. The two communities traded accusations and insults for a further 20 minutes, before Keith finally threw in the towel. Ladies, gentlemen," he shouted above the hullabaloo, "I think our business is concluded for the night. I want to thank you for your attendance." He gave a nod to Jenny, who rang the bell for last orders. It had the effect of ending the fight, and the two committees returned to their corners.